I really need to start potting up a bunch of things that are growing in my growing room because they are just getting out of control. Like these guys, these dahlias that I started from seed, they have been here since the 3rd of March. So we're almost at the end of March. They definitely need more room to grow. So I am just going to bump them up to these 2.5-inch containers. They're all from Bootstrap Farmer. And I'm also, as I'm doing this, it's super easy. I don't think that I have to show you how to pot up a few things, but for those of you that are new, maybe this will be helpful. But also I have a bunch of questions that I would like to answer as I am doing this. Questions that just kind of pop up here and there often, and I feel like I should just kind of clarify a few things that I'm doing here in my grow room, things that I'm doing outside at this time of the year. So I have a fun video prepared. But before we start with any of that, with any of the potting up or the answering of the questions, I am so excited, guys. I am super excited to show you this little thing that I did. About 2 to 3 months ago, True Leaf Market contacted me saying, hey, we love your videos, we love what you're doing with your gardening channel. And they talked to me about working with them and putting together a collection of seeds, flower seeds, annual seeds, to offer to my viewers. And I am so excited, you guys, because this packet right here, look at this. Isn't that so beautiful? Like, my face is on it. I am really excited. It was really hard because they only had room for so many seeds, and they have a bunch of seeds that they offer for flowers, and it was really hard just choosing a few of them, but I did my best. You guys, look, just look at the packaging. I absolutely love their packaging, and I actually have been using True Leaf Market. I have had great success with their microgreens, and the seeds, the flower seeds that I have purchased so far are just perfection. Actually, my canna seeds are from them. But I am really excited because I have never done anything like this. I did the math, and about each of these containers comes about $2 or so if you put them all together like that. And here's the thing, you guys. I know that many of you already got your seeds purchased, that you are done for the year. If you're anything like me, you're still buying a few things. But Mother's Day is coming. Maybe you have a coworker, a neighbor that you would love to give some of these seeds. So here's the favor that I'm gonna ask. If you enjoy the videos that I make, the information that I share, the things that I'm doing, if you found any of my videos that you watch helpful in any way, maybe this is the way for you to support this channel. I don't charge for any of this information that I share. All of the videos are free for you to watch. So maybe this is a way for you to help this channel. I absolutely love all of these seeds, you guys. I am actually getting ready to get a bunch of them for my sisters, some of my friends, and my neighbors. I mean, hello, has my picture on it. Why not? The people that make all of the designs for True Leaf Market came together. They asked me about the colors that I wanted, and oh my goodness, I just love how everything came up together. And some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, Roxana, that's it? That's like your big news? Guys, this is a huge deal to me. As a small channel, this is, I love this, okay? I love this. It's a little things. So let's move on with the video. Okay, so I have my my insert for the 2.5-inch containers. I have a flat tray so that I can bottom water, and I have my 2.5-inch containers. I do have it's probably not in the picture, not in the video, but I do have my soil. It's regular potting mix, the best potting mix that I could find, and I added a little bit of water already to it so that it's not dry. I don't really like to use dry soil when I'm working with my seeds for anything really, for either starting the seeds or transplanting. It's just a personal preference. I know that people, you know, have different feelings about that. Okay, so one of the questions that keeps popping up here and there is about the videos that I have been making in the last couple of months, really throughout the winter, about introducing other gardeners. I have made, I think about, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos showing you interviews that I have done with other gardeners, and those have been really, really fun. You guys were wondering, are you doing those for the rest of the year, or what's the plan with those? And I have mixed feelings about this because I love those videos. I absolutely love those videos, but it does take a lot of time making those videos because they're not just regular videos that I can decide to make in one morning. I have to coordinate, I have to communicate with the other, with the other person, their schedule, making sure they have the equipment that they need. And that alone takes time. And the editing part, actually, those videos do take a lot of time. Putting, just my screen, their screen, both of our screens together. It just takes a little bit more time from me. So I don't know how many more I will do for this year. I definitely have a handful of other gardeners that I definitely want to bring over for you guys, but they do take a lot of time. And I think that's those type of videos are perfect for me to do during the winter time when I don't have to be doing all of this, when I'm not busy doing other things in the garden. I still don't know about those, but let me know what your thoughts are on those. You guys enjoy them, because I know that the few that I have published have been amazing. I mean, I love everybody, and they're so different, yet we're all together. We're all coming together with the love that we have for our gardens. That's my dog. He probably thinks that I am talking to a human, and he wants to protect me. Look at those. I don't know if you can see those. Look at those. Those are beautiful, beautiful roots. The next question was about how often do I fertilize my seedlings? And you guys are gonna be surprised about this if you are new here. As of today, for 2023, what is today, the 29th, I have only fertilized my petunias. And the only reason why I fertilized those was because I wasn't sure that they were getting enough nutrients. I use potting mix, regular potting mix for starting my seeds. Yes, for starting my seeds. Oh, right here, little buddy. And I pot them up into potting mix as well. So my feelings on fertilizer are going to be different from, I feel like, a lot of people. Nothing wrong with fertilizing your seedlings, but in my opinion, the fertilizer or the potting mix that I'm using already has some fertilizer in it. So they are getting something from them. And as long as my seedlings are healthy and they are growing, I don't really have the need for adding more nutrients to them. And yes, by fertilizing my seedlings, they can give me bigger, stronger seedlings. But also, it means that they're going to grow bigger and that they're going to require bigger containers. And that means potting up more soil. So my thoughts on fertilizer are simple. If I don't see a need for it, I don't really worry about it at this stage. Right now, my biggest worry is just trying to make these plants big enough so that they can make it outside. Once they're outside, it's a whole different idea for me when it comes to fertilizer. But once they're in here, I really don't have the need for it. And like I say, this is just going to depend on, on people. I see people that the minute that those first true leaves show up, then, they start their fertilizer regimen. Nothing wrong with that. It's just something that I don't put too much emphasis on. And yes, if you are starting your seeds from, if you're starting your seeds using regular seed starting mix, something that doesn't have any nutrients, then yes, you might definitely want to look into some sort of fertilizer. But I use regular potting mix for everything. So like I said, I don't really find it necessary. And the fertilizer that I did use to do my petunias And if you're wondering, my petunias, the leaves were showing a little bit of the shade of green wasn't the best. So I thought, oh my goodness, I feel like they need a little bit of a drink of something different, and that's why I did the fertilizer, and nothing really changed. They continue to be that kind of pale green. So I just figured that's the shade of green that they need to be. So I didn't really worry about much there. Okay, before I forget, I am going to move my super fancy name tags. And another reason why I love to use these containers is because, like right now, I have one variety here in all of these clear containers. But then I'm going to move to a different color of container so that I can do a different variety. And that way I don't have to label every single container. That way I know that the ones in the clear containers are these, and I don't have to, do all of that extra. Okay, so the next question that that I get a lot is about my grow lights. What kind of grow lights do I use? I am going to put a link to a video that I made last year, not this year, but it was in 2022. And it's basically a tour and a description of everything that I use for my grow room. Nothing really has changed. That's why I didn't have the need to make one for this year. The only thing that is different is that I move a few things. I painted a wall a different color behind me, and that's really the only thing. Everything else is just the same. Other than, I grab a few more of these guys in different colors and different sizes. But I am going to link that video below, so if you want to watch it and see, go ahead and do that. But as far as my grow lights go, I use regular LED lights. They are not grow lights. And one of the huge difference about grow lights, or actually two huge difference from LED lights and grow lights, is that LED lights are way cheaper than grow lights. It's just a fact. LED lights will help you to get your plants to get a good size to be transplanted outside, but it will be really, really hard for you to use LED lights to grow tomatoes, to grow flowers, and harvest or cut the fruit, cut the blooms inside. But grow lights, if you want to grow tomatoes, if you want to grow flowers indoors, grow lights are the way to go. I don't care about growing tomatoes inside or flowers, and that's why I chose LED lights. I have regular 4 feet long, I'll put the link in the description for that as well, 4 feet long LED lights, and I absolutely love them. I could probably have less amount of lights per shelf, but what I have right now works for me great, and that's basically what I'm using. Another question that people ask often, especially at this time of year, is if I have any new plans for this year. And I don't really plan to, to purchase new plants for any of the years that I have been gardening. Plants seem to find me on their own, and whether I like it or not, I always find myself getting a bunch of new plants, whether it's a new variety of something that I already have outside. I don't really have plans, but I know that it will happen because that's just the way things go around here. Another question that I get is about my geraniums. People ask, why do you start them so early in the year? Why do you start geraniums so early? And it's 2 reasons. One, geraniums are slow growers, just like peppers. If you grow peppers, you know that they take their sweet time growing, getting up there in size. So that's why I started them a little bit early in the year, like earlier than most things. But 2, I also personally enjoy having huge plants when I am ready to transplant them outside. I know that a lot of people, find something like this size and they take them outside, and that's totally fine. I personally like something that it's huge. Although this year, the geraniums, the kind of seeds that I got, which I also wasn't sure if they were geraniums, but that's another different story. The seeds that I have are just growing so quickly, like so quickly. Let me show you what I mean. This is one of the geraniums that I have back there. This is the average size that I have, and what I noticed last week is that some of the plants already had some blooms showing. They already had some buds, and what I did is that I removed those because I don't want the plants to produce flowers right now. But I left one because I wasn't sure what color these geraniums were going to be. And look at that. They are this beautiful, beautiful pink color. Honestly, at this point, I didn't care because like I said, I wasn't sure that the seeds that I got were geraniums, but these geraniums are just taking off so quickly, and I do see a little bit of discoloration there on the leaf. It's turning yellowish. It could mean two things. Either I'm doing too much water, which could be the case, or that they need a little bit of nutrients. And being this big here already, that could be the case, but I'm not going to do anything right now. I'm just going to wait a couple more weeks, and if the yellowing gets worse, then I'll probably do a little bit of fertilizer. And the fertilizer that I use is really anything liquid fertilizer, organic, that I can find online or locally. I am not married to one company, but whatever fertilizer that you use for your indoor plants or your indoor seedlings, you really cannot go heavy on it. If you have the instructions, which you should, on the measurements that you use, just use a quarter of the amount recommended, because you could really do damage your seedlings by giving them too much fertilizer all at once. But look at this, you guys. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? I love that so much. So who knows? I might end up with really, really huge geraniums this year, which it's not a bad thing. Okay, the next question that I get a lot is, do I use a heat mat? And I do have a heat mat. I purchased one the first year that I started doing seeds indoors, because everybody, you know, recommended to get a heat mat. I found out really quickly that because of the temperature in this room, I do not need to use one. I really do not use one. This room, the average temperature in this room is between 72 and 75, 78. So this room is already nice and toasty, and I really do not find the need to use one. But if I was starting my seeds in a basement or in a room where it's definitely cooler, I know people tend to have their homes in the winter between 65 and 68. That's way too cold for me personally. But if that's the case for you, then I will definitely be using a heat mat for starting or helping my seeds to germinate. These are beautiful, beautiful dahlias. I got plenty of dahlias, you guys, this year. I am very, very excited. Okay, so another question, and this might be kind of like not a very popular opinion. What kind of soil do I use for starting the seeds, for trying to germinate the seeds? And this is my 4th year growing seeds. And the first and second year, I did mostly use seed starting mix. You know, the really nice and fluffy stuff that has no nutrients, but it's just very nice and fluffy that the seeds will love to germinate. And that worked great for me. I believe that Burpees organic seed starting mix is basically what I use. Why? Because that's what I could find local. If I can find it locally, it's going to be a huge hit for me. And I can find that stuff at Lowe's, at Home Depot, and at Menards. I love Menards. And that's what I use, and it worked great. And whenever I needed to pot up those seeds that germinated, that I will use regular potting mix. And that was what I was doing back then. Last year, being my 3rd year, I kind of used half and half. I didn't mix them, but some seeds I will start with seed starting mix, and others I will start with regular potting mix. And I really didn't find a huge difference. I really didn't have any fails that, you know, that I could say, oh, it's because of the soil that I use. So I just stopped using seed starting mix altogether this year. I haven't had any problems with seeds not germinating. If half of my seeds that I was starting in potting mix were not germinating, that I will probably just jump back to seed starting mix, but I don't have that problem. So I don't really think that, for me anyways, using a seed starting mix, especially just for the seeds, is needed. But that's my case. I also think that because of my room being really nice and warm, having, you know, decent lights for my seeds, that it just doesn't need it. But if I was having, you know, to germinate my seeds in a cooler room, in a darker room, I will definitely be using seed starting mix because it will be just a nice help for the seeds. But also, even if you're not using seed starting mix, you have to choose a potting mix that is decent, that it's nice and fluffy. I do sift. I do take all the big chunks out of the potting mix that I use just to help the seeds as well. Even though I'm not getting the specialty soil for them to germinate, I'm still going an extra step above to help, you know, to help those seeds to germinate. And again, this is just a personal choice. If you want to start using seed starting mix, by all means, make it work for you. But this is what has been working. And this year, I mean, other for my Snapdragons, which were a total fail, nothing else hasn't germinated. And by the way, some of you have asked me about my Snapdragon, so that's also another question. What happened with my Snapdragon seeds? Where did I buy the seeds? People wanted more information on that because I guess some of you are going through the same thing, which I am so sorry because that sucks. The story with my Snapdragons this year is that I purchased 2 types of Snapdragons from Johnny's. And they were brand new seeds. I bought like a huge package because I really wanted to get a bunch of Snapdragons for this year. I did everything that I did same way that I did last year and the years before that. And I have, out of hundreds of seeds, I got only 3 seeds to germinate. So that was a complete fail. So that was my first batch. So I thought, okay, maybe I do need to put my seeds in the freezer, right? So I still had half of those packets full of Snapdragon seeds. I put them in the freezer for a whole day. I took them back out, I left them to do their thing, and absolutely nothing happened. Not one from those seeds germinated. So I figured, well, this could be that the seeds needed more whole stratification, which I never did for Snapdragons anyway the years before. So what I did is that I purchased new seeds. I purchased new seeds from Outside Pride. I got 2 different kinds, and by that time, all of the best kinds were already chosen. So I got, you know, whatever was okay. Not my favorites, but, you know, they're Snapdragons. And you guys, the germination on those things it's crazy. And I didn't do anything different for those seeds that I got from Outside Pride. I just did the same thing. I didn't do any cold stratification. I just put them in the containers, and actually, let me show you how they look like. These are my 2 Snapdragons, my 2 varieties that I have, and the germination rate is amazing. And I am so excited that I have all of those Snapdragons going. I know they're going to be on the smaller side by the time that I'm ready to put them outside, but that's totally okay. I can definitely wait. And I say this on another video, I already said it, that, you know, sometimes you can do everything right and still things will fail, like my 2 fails that I did with Snapdragons. But what I think that happened is that I just got a bad batch of seeds from Johnny's, and I really want to send them an email to let them know, but at this point I'm over it. So I just love that I have germinations from other seeds, but sometimes those kind of things happen. Sometimes you don't know if the seeds that you got are going to be good seeds, and if they don't germinate, then that's when you start thinking that you have a brown thumb and that you can't do things the way other people do. But hey, it happens to everybody. It doesn't matter if you have been gardening for 3 or 10 or 20 years. Every year things will not go the way that you plant them. And I still have more dahlias from seed that I wanna pot up, but those germinated a little bit later than these guys. Even though I planted them on the same day, they germinated later. So I'm just going to wait maybe another week until they're a little bit bigger, when their root system is a little bit stronger, because they don't need the space just quite yet. But these guys were definitely ready. Okay, one more question before I finish this video. Am I adding anything to my raised beds? The answer is no. If you watch one of my last videos, you saw that I purchased this beautiful soil from Indiana Mulch, and it's already so good. I mean, I don't need to add anything else to it. The soil is just amazing as it is. I will, however, whenever I move all of this stuff outside into my raised beds, I'll probably use some sort of well-balanced, slow-release fertilizer to add to the plants, something like Dr. Earth's, or I don't know, whatever I can find locally for vegetables. That's probably what I'll be using. But right now, I don't really need to do anything else, and because I already have such good nutrients for those beds. So that's it for today, you guys. If you have been wondering about the questions that I answered, hopefully that maybe was a little bit clearer in this video. Thank you for being here, and as I mentioned, don't forget, buy your seeds for you, for your friends, for your neighbors. Thank you for being here, you guys, and until the next time.